morning or good evening. Again, this is Pastor Gregory. One last video in this series on metacognition about why we do what we do as teachers and students and people across the world and globe throughout all time. We've been looking at this notion of metacognition, thinking about our thinking. We know it comes from the Greek. I've been doing this little visual metaphor of a tree that has the what, the how, and the why. And all of these three components are critical to understanding why things come along. So you're like, why am I doing this assignment? Oh, this assignment is trying to get me to learn this. And the reason at its core, the why, is to get me to become a better person with a global sense and a local sense and a personal sense of who I am to make me a better person. So, last but not least, I just want to show you how this works in every level, including things you may not think about, like family relationships or communication. So in senior religion, Religion 4, one of the things we look at is personality testing and family dynamics and how that impacts. But the thing I'm not sure that everybody thinks about is that communication at its core works in this what, how, why stage. So for instance, if you're trying to communicate like I'm trying to do right now, I have something in my head and I'm trying to get it into your head. And we would call that understanding. Or when you're having a conversation with somebody else, you have an idea in your head. And I'm going to try to do a little visual. So if a person is over here and they're trying to tell something to somebody else or share something, what it means is they have an idea, a thing in their head, and they try to communicate that thing so that that idea ends up in the other person's head. And then they are together, they're in sync. Like, oh, I said, oh, now I know what you mean. So for instance, the what, right? The what is this idea in my head. The how is the communication process. And the why is to move the idea from my head to the other head. So that the person who's talking, the whole point, or sharing, you could talk. Communication isn't just talking. Just like you don't have assignments that are just quizzes and just projects and just homework. You can talk, communicate. You can write, communicate. You can sign language communicate. Okay, that's, look that one up if you're not sure. You can semaphore, that's the flag communication. There's all sorts of ways of communication, but the point is the same. I have an idea here, I have something in here, and I'm trying to move it from in here to the other person's mind. And that's the what, the how, and the why. And family dynamics, personalities, education, all works on this same tree of knowledge. From step 1, 2, to 3. And that process can be cyclical. It can be back and forth. In other words, if you think about it as the sap in a tree, the sap flows up, but the sap also flows down. People may not realize the sap flows up and down. And the flowing out, producing the fruit, shows us what kind of tree it is. We walk by, we go, oh, apples. It must be an apple tree. We don't walk by a tree that has apples on it and think, oh, there's an orange tree. We say, oh, that's an apple tree based on the fruit. But we all know that the fruit, if we pick the fruit, it doesn't kill the tree. What at the source and the core of the tree is the root. And that's exactly it. So the fruit, the leaves that the tree produces, are a reflection of what kind of tree it is. But the why, the roots in the soil, are who, speaking of our metaphor, you will become, or you are. And so the process of education is just that. And so this is why we're going to be doing what we do. So you can learn distance learning, you can learn in person, you can learn by yourself, you can learn from YouTube videos. Education is not it only can be in a classroom, or it can only be distance, or it can only be on an outdoor trip. Education, the process of changing humans into better humans, is the process of moving us from our why into producing stuff that makes the world a better place. But the producing stuff that makes the world a better place isn't where it starts. The change is really in the roots. And so what a teacher is after, we know we can't change the roots directly. I can't open up your head and reach in there and touch and make your brain different. The only way I can reach in there and make your brain different is to, in a sense, like the tree, the sap has to flow the other way. I have to take what's in my head and try to, by using assignments, to get you to know comprehension and facts, to have that change settle into the who you are. to have and develop in you a global awareness and a local compassion and a personal growth. And for an Adventist Christian, it doesn't stop at global. It's universal, because the gospel isn't just to the planet Earth. The great controversy is about saving the entire universe. And that's kind of where I want to go with our class. Whether you're my sophomores watching, or my juniors watching, or my seniors watching, it always boils down to starting with us, but thinking about how can we make not just your community, or your family, or the country you're in a better place, or the world a better place, but what kind of person are you becoming to make the universe better? Are you becoming safe to save? Are you becoming fit for heaven? The kind of person God can hand his keys over to and trust you to do what's right. And there's our tour through Metacognition, and why we as educators do what we do, and what you as a student can do in the process. All right? Thank you very much for listening through all three and going through it. And if you missed something, feel free to wind it back and watch each one again. Take notes. There'll be some assignments on it, be some discussion on it. And the whole point of that is, of course, so that I can know you're becoming the kind of person you need to be. All right? See you later. Bye.